After Missouri became the first state to reverse a total ban on abortion, some lawmakers say the system to get abortion on the ballot should not be allowed to continue.
Our Missouri Capitol reporter Hannah Falcon has the latest on the efforts to reverse Amendment 3 just months after it was passed by voters.
Teresa Nicolai usually spends her days on her rural Missouri homestead, but she traveled to the capital city to ensure her voice is heard.
For those of us who live and work in rural Missouri, I think that we should have as much power as the lobbyists who spend their days up here at the Capitol talking to politicians day in and day out.
Nicolai joins the Respect Voters Coalition, a group opposing changes to Missouri's initiative petition process. That allows any Missourian to put a question on the statewide ballot if they get enough signatures. Most recently, it's how Missourians legalized marijuana and brought back abortion. Lawmakers considered two bills this morning that would reform the process. They include everything from new deadlines to the color of ink petition signers have to use. Nicolai says these bills would make it more difficult to put something on the ballot.
The citizens initiative process is about regular folks, not only politicians, being able to express our opinions and make our elected officials listen to us and listen to our voices without interference.
But it's not interference from politicians that Sam Lee is concerned about.
There are all sorts of people from outside the state who come in and they get paid and they don't care what's in the initiative petition. They just want their money.
Lee worked closely with the group that opposed Amendment 3, which once again legalized abortion in Missouri. This group believes the ballot summary on Amendment 3 was confusing, misleading voters into signing something they didn't fully understand.
We need to be fair to the voters of Missouri so they know what they're signing and they know what they're voting on.
While some lawmakers are considering reforming the process, others are trying to change the laws started by those initiative petitions. A bill that would revert the changes in Amendment 3, once again outlawing abortion in Missouri, is being considered. If this bill passes, voters would be asked if they want to reinstate Missouri's abortion ban.
While lawmakers consider that abortion ban bill, Planned Parenthood is suing the state in court for the ability to perform abortions. Even though abortion is legal now, the state blocks the provider from doing them through licensing complications. A court date is set for next year. Reporting in Jefferson City, I'm Hannah Falcon, First Alert 4.
These bills have to be approved by committee before the full House of Representatives can vote on them.